What Would Louise Say? Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Hosted by Reverend Martine Bernard. Explore the wisdom of Louise Hay. Brought to you by New Thought Media Network. Dive into Louise's teachings. Experience healing and empowerment. Reverend Martine shares insights. Connect with a contemporary audience. Unlock your potential. Transform your life with love. Embrace positivity and healing. Join our vibrant community. Ready to join us? Let's spread love and wisdom together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only on New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Hello, 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 beautiful souls. I am Reverend Martine Bernard, and this is What Would Louise Say? We are so excited today because we are actually celebrating the birthday of our beloved Louise Hay. We are celebrating her birthday. Her birthday is actually on October the 8th, and today is the 7th, so we are a day early, but we are celebrating the enormous global heart-centered impact that our beloved Louise Hay had on the world. I just would like to say a few things this morning, so bear with me. I'm so excited because we have Dr. Patricia Crane and Master Teacher Rick Nichols here with us today. They have been on this incredible journey with Louise. So we are beyond thrilled to welcome them. They have spent the last important years of their life making sure that Louise's worldview has maintained its vitality and has stayed alive. So as we celebrate her heavenly birthday, we also celebrate the contribution made by these two extraordinary teachers, leaders, and beloved friends of Louise. Dr. Patricia Crane and Rick Nichols, co-creators of the Heal Your Life Teacher and Coach Training. So if Louise were here today, what would she say from heaven? She would say, sweetheart, beloved one, beautiful one. The point of power is always in the present moment. What are you choosing to think today? So today we're going to go back in that vibration of love, gratitude, and possibilities as we revisit how the Heal Your Life movement began and continues to transform lives all over the world. So welcome, 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 Dr. Patricia and Master Teacher Rick. So happy to have you today. We are celebrating. Louise.
Well, thank you. We're delighted to be here and celebrate Louise's legacy.
Oh my goodness. So Louise was born on the 8th of October, that makes her a Libra. For those of you who are into astrological signs, she's here in this beautiful Libra season. I always like to say that these holidays or even these so-called astrological signs and all of that are portals, spiritual portals for us to take on the very qualities that are being spoken about. And so how can we live in balance with all humanity? How can we live in spiritual discernment as opposed to judging by appearances? And how can we embody beauty? I think inner beauty, self-love as an act of beauty and nourishment for the soul. Louise embodied all of these qualities. And so this is what we are celebrating and calling forth today. So Dr. Patricia, what are some of the memories, or how did it all begin? Because you actually crafted the Heal Your Life training and all of it with Louise.
Well, I told most of the story on one of the earlier ones, the premiere show with you. So I'll just say that, I was thrilled to meet Louise in 1986. I already had read her book. I think she'd probably sold 20 million copies even at that point. Now it's 55. But I loved her book because the foundation is really loving yourself. And what you just talked about is what will guide us to world peace eventually. Loving yourself, you become more compassionate for others. But it turned out that Louise was leading intensives at the time because it was the AIDS crisis years. And she wanted to really allow people to get a deep dive into her work. So I went to the first intensive that she ever did in 1987, and then the second one. And after that, she asked me to be on the staff for the rest of them.
Oh my
So as it progressed, she became more and more well known for the work that she was doing and the courage that she had to take on, what was happening at the time and really, bring to forth the spiritual part and the loving yourself part. And when she was on the Oprah Winfrey Show, of course, Oprah held up the book, and it was a major bestseller overnight. And so Louise got too busy to continue doing the intensives. She wanted people to do her 2-day workshop, the Love Yourself, Heal Your Life workshop, which you have experienced. And so Hay House was sending myself and 3 others out to places that had requested that. And it just evolved into people asking for a training program. And really, Louise co-created that with me when I called her and said, Louise, people want a training program. And she thought about it for about a nanosecond and said, okay, come down to my house for the weekend and we will put it together. So we put together the curriculum together, and that was the beginning of the training in 1995. And so this is the 30th year.
Wow. The 30th year and the 40th anniversary of the book.
Right. The whole thing, Martine, is a cosmic conspiracy.
Yes, it is.
None of this was ever programmed to happen. Louise was unapologetically Louise, and she would do as she decided that she would do. And as we all know, she championed the gay men back in AIDS when nobody else would have a thing to do with it.
No one.
But she was trying to build a company, and most companies say, well,
yes,
you gotta go with the flow of the world here, and this is going to be quite controversial. But she didn't think that way. And Louise, actually, very few people are aware of this, I think, that she was an introvert. She preferred to be by herself. Yeah, she was an introvert and somewhat stoic in many ways, until she gets in front of a group of people that need her assistance. And then that introversion turns into extrovert, but not just extrovert, but a brilliant one, because she knew how to speak with people in a gentle, loving kind of a way, that's uncondescending in any way, and no hint of any pretense of being a guru or knowing everything or doing any of that. She would simply love people and teach them what she knew. We go back to her beginnings of her birth and so forth, and you can look at the trajectory there. You can see this is a cosmic conspiracy, because the cosmos took care of her in her early days when she really needed it, then moved her to be in certain positions which were unlikely to where she would be now, modeling and doing that. And then she moved from that into knowing that she needed something more. So she found science of mind, and then the rest is history. But it's a cosmic conspiracy, even that Patricia and I are sitting here today speaking with you. This wasn't in our plans at all. Certainly not mine.
And it's a cosmic conspiracy that I'm here.
Sure. Well, and just let me add, too, that I actually met Rick at the end of 1995. And when I met him, I was thrilled to find out that not only had he read Louise's book and loved it, but he was memorizing all those meditations and affirmations.
Those meditations are this long.
Yeah, which, I mean, I never did that. So we very quickly got together, and then he began teaching with me. And so we have been teaching the training started 30 years ago, but we've been to 15 countries sharing Louise's work. And as you know, there are many teacher trainers now. They're out there, and many workshop leaders. But we started, teaching together, and we were just thrilled to go to so many places. And Rick is so right. Louise never planned to start worldwide publishing business. You know, there are 5 different chapters all over Hay House Inc. in the US, but she was just guided at every step. And I think that's what's so important about her legacy, is for people to remember, not only is it about loving yourself, but it's really about deepening that spiritual connection that allows you to get that inner wisdom and what she called the inner ding to guide you. You know, that is just so important, because that's a big piece of it. And today there's so much about, oh, just go out and do it. Well, that's a very masculine path. And the feminine path is much more about becoming inward and really going with that inner flow and that spiritual connection to guide you. And that's what Louise did brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly.
Goodness.
I will add just one other little thing about Louise. You're talking about Libras. I think they are, one of their traits is being organized, isn't it?
Yes.
She was very organized. Her closet was organized in the colors of the chakras. Wow. So that's a little tidbit most people don't know.
That's a nice tip, my beloved ones watching. We all need to organize our closets by color themes. That's a good idea. I'm decluttering right now, and or the chakra system. If that is
I think Rick does that, but
yeah.
But I love the idea that he has, you know, or he was saying about the cosmic conspiracy, because you know, it really is guidance if you're paying attention. If you're where your perfect place is supposed to be.
I have a question that's just bubbling up in my consciousness about the courage. So when you met her, she was doing the hay rides.
Mm-hmm.
She was doing something so unconventional that took a lot of leadership. I remember being a little girl at the time of the AIDS crisis, and I remember what I perceived was that you weren't supposed to touch and hug people.
True.
And I remember deciding as a child, oh, well, I guess I'm going to die because I can't stop hugging and kissing the people I love and my friends. That was my little act of, this sounds crazy, then I'll go out this way. I can't imagine the courage it took for her to, I think she was so spiritually inspired and devoted and so impassioned and on fire for the science of mind philosophy. But were there ever any moments that, you remember, Dr. Patricia, of her kind of going, wow, this is becoming bigger than I thought. Can I, was there any concern as to her reputation, her life? It doesn't seem like there was, but I can't imagine.
Not that I remember at all. For Louise, I would say that for her, it wasn't even really about courage. We see that as courage.
Yes.
But to her, it's just something I need to do. She was living in West Hollywood at the time. And so she knew a lot of gay men. And they started with just 8 people in the living room. And each week it just grew and grew because the energy was so great. Her message was so beautiful to them that you are loved, you are lovable. You don't need to feel guilty about who you are. And what was lovely over time at the hay rides, as they grew to be 800 people on Wednesday nights in a large gym in West Hollywood, is that ultimately the guys, and there were some women too, but mostly men, of course, they began to bring their nurses and then even some doctors and their parents. Usually the mothers came first and then the dads. So it began to expand beyond the community to the people that they really also needed for their support. And I think that was a really beautiful aspect of it.
Truly.
And, yes. Mm-hmm.
David Alt, Reverend Dr. David Alt, mentioned that people were flying in from other countries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That people were flying in because no one was willing to talk about it. No one had an encouraging word. Gay men especially were ostracized, many abandoned by family, friends, religious organizations that are supposed to be embody unconditional love. And so this was a haven, a healing, loving haven that Louise created, because she was reminding people that there is a power within you that is greater than any circumstance in the world.
Right, Martine, when you're living in the moment, in the now, courage is not required because you are laser focused on the now and what needs to be done now. And so all the peripherals about it, you talk about AIDS back in those days, they
Yes.
didn't know how it was transmitted. It was transmitted, you know, in the air, by touching, by hugging, whatever.
Yes.
Louise never concerned herself
Mhm.
with catching AIDS from any of these people because she was focused on the now and the need in the now. And when you're focused on the need in the now, courage is not required. It
That's
becomes a non-issue. You simply go where you're directed to go. And that's exactly what she did without apologies for being who she was or how she presented herself or about what anybody thought about her philosophies. And a lot of people had negative thoughts about she was misleading these
Yeah, she did.
men who had death warrants
wow.
against them.
Wow.
And she never concerned herself with that.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't a matter of courage. It's simply a matter about this is the now and this is what I am being guided to do. And therefore I'm going to do it. And the rest of the world can go do whatever it wants to do.
That's right. That's right. When you say that cosmic, is that conspiracy that you use the word? It was her path. She was meant to be on it. She was ahead of her time. She was a thought leader that was ahead of her time. I still feel as though the world is just beginning to catch up with Louise, a lot of the ancient New Thought teachings that she embodied. Dr. Patricia, what would you say was the energy of the first training that you led after Louise asked you to carry out the technique? I'd love to hear how the very first training went.
Okay, and I think actually there's a photo of the group with Louise in that video that we sent you. But it was incredible because this was before all the internet and email was so available and everything.
Yes. So how did people
there were
find out?
Well, they wrote to Hay House and asked, and Hay House wrote back and said there's a training.
Wow.
So there were 6 people from Australia, 2 people from Spain, a couple of other countries, and then the rest from the US.
And how
You know,
many people?
There were 22 people, 20 or 22 people in the first one. And Louise had agreed to come and meet with them and sign her book. And so on one of the days toward the end of the week, she actually showed up and people were so excited to meet her personally. And she sat and just, and signed her book for everyone. So that was but the energy was just so incredible because it was the first one and people were so excited that they would be able to go back and share Louise's techniques and her wisdom with people in their communities and in the other countries.
My goodness, that is so exciting. And when did you begin to travel? So you're having these classes mostly in California. Were you going elsewhere throughout the country?
Well, I actually started traveling in right after the Oprah Winfrey show because Hay House was just to do the 2-day workshop, not to do the training. So that's when I first started traveling. In Hay House, I actually got to Poland and Spain and England. And England was where the people were asking for the training program. And that's how it started specifically.
And
But after that, when Rick and I met, he began traveling with me to the UK and Ireland and Australia, Canada, Luxembourg. There were 15 countries altogether that we went to. And of course, there was translation. Wow. So we did a 2-day workshop with translation in, let's see, which country was that? Greece, actually Greece.
Wow.
And we did a 2-day workshop, I think, in Spain as well. So, that's an interesting process with translation to do a whole 2-day workshop.
So with the translation, I mean, you can feel energy. Were people just as impacted? Do you feel
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
absolutely.
Is,
yeah, absolutely. Because part of it, it's the wisdom, but it's also the energy of the group.
yes,
And so initially the people that were organizing these, there were also people who knew something about Louise's work. So they were already in the philosophy and then advertising it. But yeah, it was quite interesting. But we also decided that the training itself had to be in English because there's just no way to keep processing with people for a whole week with another language. So that is why it became very necessary for us to create, and authorize trainers in other languages.
Yes,
And
yes.
so, yeah, the first ones were Italy, Spain, and actually South Africa, where they speak English, but it's just a long way to travel.
That's right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
That is
we talk about the cosmic conspiracy. Here it is again.
yes.
We never intended to have created this situation where we now have the whole wide world in our hands. And we do, because we have trainers in many different countries. And it evolved gradually through having to do, and then we had to realize that we needed to get this word out to people that speak languages other than our own. So then, but they had to be taught by English speaking trainers.
Right.
So we invited them in for a training so that they could go extend the trainings in their own language. And that's how that evolved. But and the listeners need to listen to this, I think, or might be wise to listen to this. There is a cosmic conspiracy going on in your life. And you are listening to this program or watching this program at this moment because that's part of that cosmic conspiracy. That cosmic conspiracy is teasing you into where it feels you need to be in order to extend your love to the world. And it happens one little nano something or other each moment until it evolves finally into what the world needs now is love, not a whole lot more than it's got.
A lot more. And Reverend Martine, when you came to the training in October of 2024, you never had in mind to offer this online program, this What Would Louise Say, right?
I had no idea. As my beloved ones watching, I was diagnosed with a third stage cancer diagnosis. And I just knew that I couldn't do all of the treatment as it was designed. My inner ding told me that I needed to go in a different way. And I was attempting, I just knew that there was forgiveness work that I needed to do. My first day at the workshop, or maybe the second, Dr. Patricia passed a basket around and we were to choose a wonderful little, I think the power cards, or there's these
the power thought cards from Louise. Yeah.
Yes. And of course, and I close my eyes and I dig in and I pull out the, of course, you can't make this stuff up, beloveds. I pull out the forgiveness card. I release and let the past go, all of the hurts, all of those, I release and I set myself free. I forgive and I set myself free. That was and I went, of course, of course. So it was just life-changing. And I never thought that I would have the opportunity and honor and gift to interview such amazing people who have been inspired and their lives have been radically changed for the better by Louise's worldview and philosophy. So it's just an honor. And I always just, my toes just get, I just get all tickled when I see Dr. Patricia, because I'm like a crazy fan inside, hiding out. Dr. Patricia always has to remind me, I'm not perfect. I'm like, you don't have to be.
No, you have to be perfect. Yeah. And, I would also just say that for those listening and watching afterwards or now, whoever's on, if you're feeling kind of stuck in some area, then stop. Don't keep pushing. Go ahead and meditate and take some quiet time. Go out and take a walk in nature. Ask for guidance. The guidance is there. The signs are there. If you ask for them, they will absolutely, show up. And I'm a great fan of just knowing that whatever you need at the moment is what you need at the moment to show up. And sometimes it's greatly profound, and other times it's just a little thing. And I can remember one time when I was seeing clients and I was not having a great day for some reason. And I had to, where I was living, I actually had to go out and let people into the parking lot. So I went out to the parking lot and there was a sign that said, "Be light." License plate number, a license plate. And I said, okay, thank you very much. That was that was the message that I needed right now. But Louise's Power Thought cards are also a great way, to get that message. And you got the message that you needed right at that time and reinforce that.
I certainly did. And it's been
and be ready to receive a miracle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Every moment, miracles are available, and they will happen to you oftentimes at your darkest moment. One of my favorite teaching stories is in Louise's The Wizard of Oz, And in the poppy fields, when Dorothy and the lion and Toto have been put to sleep, they've passed out, and it's summertime, and these poppies are growing, and the Tin Man and the Straw Man were going around in circles looking to the heavens and saying, help, help, help. That's a prayer.
Yes, it is.
Simple prayer, to be for sure. And miraculously, in the middle of springtime, a snowstorm showed up. And snow killed off the daisies and their power.
Yes.
I mean, the poppies.
Yes.
And what happens when they get in the cold, they die off and they lose their power. And then the rest of them are up and about. Watch for miracles. When you see a miracle or you'll feel it before you'll see it. When it comes around you, you'll know the energy of it. Accept it, even if it is completely out of juxtaposition to wherever you happen to be in life. Just know that your intuition is giving you this miracle. Accept it and move forward.
Yeah. And Spirit always wants us to heal.
Always.
Spirit always wants us to heal. But what happens is that you get caught up in some kind of negative situation and you start thinking there's no way out. So the energy, the miracle can't happen.
You can't see the miracle vibration of life. That's what
and Louise did even spontaneously, in her book, she has these beautiful, what they call treatments or the affirmations, but I was with her doing many of them spontaneously. And she just had that divine connection with exactly the right words that were needed at that time, in the group or when she was doing these intensives with someone who's really going through a lot. But that's another thing to remember, is that the connection is there if you open to it.
Yes, it is.
And too often we get hung up in, there's no way out or there's nothing to do. But there always is a solution. And Louise's work has so many nuggets for you that are solutions.
They certainly are. And we will be taking a break in about 2 minutes. But Dr. Patricia, and we can talk about the memories. We're going to watch a wonderful video of Louise. What would you say to people today? What would Louise say to about what's happening on the planet, and just a level of worry and fear and doubt and uncertainty? Many people are upset. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of concern going on right now, and obviously a huge lack of love and a lack of compassion. And Louise would always say, start with yourself, and really move into that love space with yourself and forgiveness for things that are happening. And then if you're guided to do something, not just sit and meditate, which is fine as well, but if you're guided to do something, then, take some steps to help. And, one thing that Rick and I can do is right here in our neighborhood, there is Operation Provider, which helps with food and utilities and even rent for people. And so we can help support that particular nonprofit. So there are things that you could do or volunteer, but it starts with yourself and really getting in touch with your own emotions and saying, okay, where am I right now? What's upsetting me right now? But move into the love for yourself and others, and then do your best to be guided to whatever you want to do on the outside.
In 4 words, Louise would probably say, or likely say something like, mind your own business.
She would.
She could be sharp, and she was a firm believer, and she would say, if it's your business, then tend to your business. But if there's nothing you can do about it, then it is not your business.
Amen.
And so mind your own business and do what you can do in the now and place that you are, and that the rest of it will unfold of its own accord.
That's right.
She could be pretty blunt.
Because so many people are just taking it all on, and they can't even change it. They can't change the outside world. I mean, it's just a real reminder to work on the self. And from that overflow of love, you can just share love with all people.
Yes.
So we will take a short break. This is Reverend Martine, and this is the wonderful show, What Would Louise Say? We're celebrating her birthday on the New Thought Media Network. Hello, beautiful
Again.
ones. We are back. We are back. And today we are celebrating Louise Hay's birthday. She was born on October 8th. We're a day early, but we are in the season of celebration. We will be holding her in our hearts and just knowing that she is alive and well in the astral realm, the heavenly realm. And she's just sending us her love, just admonishing us and encouraging us to love ourselves and to love the world. I love this song. I love myself just the way I am. There's nothing I need to change.
Signature song, yes.
Yes, I love our song.
And it's on our YouTube, which is Heal Your Life Altogether. And you just search, I love myself the way I am, and it's right on there.
I will be listening to that on repeat today in celebration of Louise's birthday. Dr. Patricia, can you talk a little bit about the video that we are going to see? We're crossing our fingers that the technology, we're affirming the technology is working. Our producer, Zoe, is lovingly on it, and it's going to work. Louise is going to help us. So
Absolutely. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you, Louise.
The video is called Precious Memories. And when Rick and I were moving from our ranch that we had been on in 21 years, and we're going through and weeding out things, but I found a lot of the photos that we had taken and memories that we had from her, starting with some, early on when I had just met her. Through one of her birthday celebrations, actually, and some other times. So Rick put together a beautiful video with the photos and also with us speaking. And so it really is sharing a lot of the memories that we have with Louise.
So producer Zoe, I would love it if we could take a look at the video. In the meantime, Rick, what are some of your memories of Louise? Do you have any really special ones that you could talk about?
Dancing with her.
Oh, wow.
When I read the book and I practiced the book, I lived the book actually for about 6 months. I embodied the thing, and I fell in love with Louise through that and with her philosophies. I thought it would be nice to meet her someday. She seems to be a wonderful person. Yes. And a very few years later, I found myself dancing with her at a open house party for Hay House.
Wow.
And, it was a short dance, to be sure, because I don't think she liked my style. So we took a couple of turns, and then she turned around and walked away. I was standing on a dance floor by myself. She was like that. She had some blunt edges on her. When she's done with something, she would just discard it and move on.
Yes, that is so fun. But you had that opportunity, that moment in time. How wonderful.
And another one, if I may interject this, was I had a golden opportunity to spend an afternoon with her at her home down in Carlsbad. And that was the most magic moment of my life, because when you're with a true gifted, blessed, we'll use the word guru,
yes.
You feel it. You don't just take in words, you absorb it from her. We sat and had tea all afternoon.
Yes.
And from that, I learned more than I could learn in a graduate program at a university. It was just being with her, with nobody else around, her and I and a couple of house workers and that.
Yeah.
That's the most treasured moments that I can remember with her.
I'm always in awe. I was blessed. I just don't even understand it. Because conspiracy, to meet her twice, and to meet her all alone. So, like to have a small 5-minute private audience with her. Mm-hmm. The first time I had a friend. There was a I Can Do It conference in New York at the Javits Center, which is like a football field. The place is gigantic. And I had a friend who was supposed to attend with me, and he got very, very sick. And I thought, oh, I will go. I was in a very, very busy time of my life. And he wouldn't stop. Ron kept on saying, I feel like something's going to happen, like something special is going to happen. You have to go. He drove me nuts. So I actually took the midnight bus to, my life was just so busy. I took the midnight bus to New York. It's about 3.5, 4 hours. I got to Port Authority at like 4 a.m. I I had an early breakfast. I hung out in New York, and I walked over at about 9 a.m. in the morning. I'm there, and I think Greg Brendan was on. And then Louise came on, and Louise was doing her introduction about, you'll hear from different teachers, and whatever you align with, I may not make sense to you, but someone else will. She was lovely, and it was amazing, but I was falling asleep. So here I am, dozing off. And at one point I said to myself, all is well. Everything is working out for the highest good. I'm okay. I'm going to get what I need. Let me go get some coffee and not worry. It's like, I'm going to miss Louise, and I can't believe I'm going to miss her. But I walk through the Jarvis Center. There's no one else there outside because all the 3,000 folks are indoors listening to everyone. And as I'm walking back, and I remember my heels clicking and echoing through that space, Louise was seated there all by herself at a little table with none of her staff around. And I had to go straight by her in order to go in through a particular door that went straight up to where I was seated. And so as I'm about to go by her, I'm like, I cannot go by Louise Hay and not say anything. I'm like, this is the dream of a lifetime for me. So I stopped in front of her and I said, Miss Louise, or however I said, I just love you. And she said, I love you too. I said, thank you for changing my life. Thank you for your teachings. They remind me to love myself and that there's a power within me that can overcome all circumstances. And she said, that's wonderful. And I think she even said, do you want to hug me? And I was kind of like, of course. Do you want to hug me? Because I wanted to. And I guess I had that look like, and I said, yes. And she held me. And she told me she loved me.
Yeah.
And then I went back in. And at the end of the conference, when everybody was waiting and the 3 million lines and all the people and the books, and you only got 2 seconds with her, I walked by all of that because I had had my one-on-one with Louise.
Yeah.
Miraculous.
She did give amazing hugs. She did really give amazing hugs, I have to say. Yeah.
She held me and rocked me a little, and she told me, I love you. And I said, I love you too.
You approached her the perfect way, Reverend Martine.
Wow.
Quick story, and one of the I Can Do It's where Louise was trying to retire and told Reed she wasn't going to do any speaking there. She's going to be there, but leave her alone. And that happened as an afterthought. We had several people from our community come in from India specifically to see Louise and to meet her. And then it was announced that she wouldn't be appearing anywhere. And they were very disappointed. So at one point, during a period of time where everybody's in the breakout rooms in the conference, a few of the Indian people that came from our people came walking by, and they were talking and they were on their phones and all of that. Louise happened to be standing in a booth across the aisle from where I was. And I knew she was there. She'd been there for a little while. So one of the women that was crying because she couldn't meet Louise, I stopped her. Her name was Artie. I said, Artie. She said, what? What are you? I said, Louise. Where? Behind you. She turned and she started to dash over there. And I said, Artie, stop. What? Come here. Do not attack her like a groupie. Not going to end well. Go over there gracefully, treat her like with the respect that she deserves, and through your own way. So, and she did. And she went over there and said that she was a Louise Hay teacher or a Heal Your Life teacher from India. And Louise, and she engaged with her. She got a picture, I think, still today on her website of her kissing Louise's hand. Louise stuck her hand out to shake hands or something, and Artie kissed her hand, and her husband got the picture. It's the way you approach somebody like that. You go at it not like a groupie.
Yes.
Oh my God! I love you. That's a great opening to a greeting.
Yeah, and with respect. With respect. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then I had a second time, and I don't want to go on about this, beloveds, but I'm so excited. And we're celebrating Louise. We were hoping to get the movie, but Dr. Patricia, the movie is on your website, right? We can.
Well, it's on our YouTube channel, Heal Your Life.
Yes.
And oops, there it is.
Oh, good.
There it is.
It is.
Okay.
Can we watch it? Yay!
Yes. Okay. Okay, great. Warm greetings, everyone. And really the best gift you could give Louise is to love yourself more deeply and to be able to share that love with others.
Absolutely. It is Louise's thing, of course, we all know is love, and love heals all. So we thought we would share some wonderful things that Patricia discovered with you today.
I was looking through some old photos when Rick and I moved, and these are before digital, most of them. And I have some old ones of Louise and I and things that we were doing back then that I'd like to share with you today.
I'm looking forward to it. I've seen them already, but it's going to be wonderful to go over them one more time. So here we go.
The first photo is in 1987, and it was the first intensive that I actually went to with Louise. I'd met her in 1986, and yes, that is me behind her with the curly hair. So that was my first intensive. After that, I was invited to be on staff, and that was absolutely amazing. The next photo is the Gay Pride Parade in 1988, and I was thrilled to be on actually a big old hayride wagon with everyone. And we sang I Love Myself the Way I Am continuously along about a 3 to 5 mile route. I think we must have sung it at least 50 or 60 times.
That must have been a hit.
It was.
Wow.
My voice was tired.
I'll bet.
And then there is a beautiful photo of Louise's garden and from her terrace when she moved to Solana Beach. It was just an absolutely lovely home. And the next picture is a party at her house in 94. And I forget what it was for. It wasn't for her birthday, but we had a fun party that was there.
Interesting, honey. You've got red hair in this
I know.
picture.
I don't know what happened there, but anyway.
I love the red hair.
And then following on the very first Heal Your Life teacher training in 1995 in March in San Diego. Louise is there surrounded by the group. And unfortunately, it was pouring rain that day, and Louise literally got blown in the door and had to rush off to the bathroom to kind of fix her hair and everything and get unwet. So, but we so enjoyed that. And the next picture is with her signing books. So she signed books for everyone, as she always did for years to come, very, very graciously.
She was always so good about book signing. She would stay forever.
She was fabulous. Mm-hmm. The next photo is the 1996 February training. And that one we actually had at her, not the whole training, but we had the group day at her home in Solana Beach. She decided it was easier to hire a bus to get us all there than for her to come to the hotel. So that was the group then. And then there's a picture of me with her and her little cute dog, Highland. He was so cute. And then later that year, Louise was going to Spain to do a big talk, which she did for 3,000 people. Rick and I decided we would also go along and hold a workshop the next day. And that workshop was organized by who's now our teacher trainer there, Maria Rosa Casanovas, and her twin sister, Karina. And Louise was gracious enough the next day after her big talk to come and do the opening for us and also to do a meditation and treatment for us. There were about probably 150 people there. It was really a fabulous, fabulous day. And that time also, Rick was going to lead, or did lead, a healing light meditation for a group that we did a little bit later in the week.
Yeah, that was my very first international speaking engagement. It was quite exciting, and it was. I was a little nervous about that, but it was a wonderful time we had in Barcelona and doing that presentation.
Absolutely. And 1996 also happened to be Louise's 70th birthday, and we were invited to the big party that she had. And here's a photo of her with, I think, 3 dozen roses. Just really gorgeous, and the party was really a lot of fun.
There was a beautiful bouquet of roses, and I had a great time all evening there.
And the next year, 97, again, there's a picture here of the training group at Louise's home in Solana Beach, and Rick created a very special present for her.
This is a water fountain. As many of you know, I was at the time making water fountains, little tabletop water fountains. And this was my first attempt at a water fountain that had a rolling ball in it that the water made it roll. It's quite a challenge to make that, but I put it together and brought it to the house. And then the whole group from the previous picture, presented it to Louise as a birthday gift.
Mm-hmm. And there's Rick with Louise.
And this is Rick with Louise, one of my treasured memories. Turning back the pages at the time, I was A little thinner and darker haired by then.
And then finally that day, it was a lot of fun. Louise was in a very playful mood, and she and Heather Williams, my assistant then, and myself are on the swing, just having a great time, enjoying ourselves. And the next photo is after Rick and I had bought the ranch. Louise came out to the ranch and wanted to see it and celebrate with us. And she brought a very unusual present.
It was a housewarming gift that she brought. Was a croaking frog, and she knew that we had that little pond out front, and that frog still sits there today. We left it there. It lost its voice somewhere along the way, but it quit croaking. But it was a treasure. We enjoyed that evening immensely.
And the frog would croak whenever anyone walked by, so it was kind of an alarm bell for us, which is interesting. So besides her place in San Diego, Louise also had a place in Carlsbad overlooking the water. And these are some photos from when we had lunch with her one day out there. It was a lovely place.
Mm-hmm.
She had a lovely water view. She also, of course, was a great gardener. So she had a lovely little pond and some flowers there. And then also, of course, she grew some organic vegetables.
And she
so there's
loved
her veggie garden.
Yeah, very nice.
We also have a few photos that we have actually put out before, but we wanted to add these since it is her birthday. This was her 85th birthday party that was held at a hotel near San Diego. Just a fabulous time for everyone. There's a picture of Louise in a fuchsia colored top, jacket. And there's Barbara Corellis with her fuchsia colored hair. And actually, she had colored Louise's hair in the back fuchsia for that special day. And then we had a wonderful group there with authors and Hay House heads from other countries. And it was really a very special birthday.
So that is a review of some of the wonderful times that we remember and have captured on film. And we just really very much wanted to share that with you on this very special day as we remember Louise's life and legacy.
So we certainly encourage you to use Louise's techniques, deepen your own love for yourself and your understanding of your own life, and also to be able to go to the heights that you would like to go in your life, and to remember to use that love to heal others and to share with others as well. Namaste.
Namaste. Remember, we love you and see you in your very best.
Oh, that was wonderful. In the infinity of life, all is well and I'm safe. Oh my God, there's an infinite well of love within me. This love goes out to me and returns to me multiply. The more I use and share this love, the more it comes back to me multiply.
Right.
Something like that. Yes, in the infinity of life. Thank you, Louise. We know that you are in the infinity of life, doing your thing, being a master teacher. I believe life goes on forever, and we just advance and advance as a soul. And to think that her courage and her passion for the science of mind and spirit, that she interpreted, in a secular, approachable way for all people, has changed millions of lives. Millions of lives.
Yeah.
What a gift.
And that is so true, that she was just brilliant in adapting the work so it is accessible, so worldwide. And we do have Heal Your Life workshop leaders and coaches in 72 countries now, which I think attests to exactly what you're saying. And, people, and Louise always said as well, if something I say doesn't resonate with you, okay, just let it go.
Yes.
But take what does. She was never pushy at all about her work and her ideas. She just really wanted people to heal. And so however you need to heal, and that's ultimately how Hay House started, really, with her book, and then adding all these other incredible authors that Hay House has. But It does start with just saying, it's accessible work. To really, and every culture wants to learn how to love themselves, how to be more peaceful, and how to be just more harmonious in the world. And so it's just wonderful how she was guided to really create that in a way that did resonate so much worldwide.
And that inner harmony brings about magic and miracles in your life.
Absolutely.
That's what it does, which is so phenomenal. How old was she when she did make her transition? Was she 90?
She was 90. She was just shy of her 91st birthday. And I will say that I don't know which audio it is, but on one of her audios, when she was 65,
Yes.
she said she was going to live to be 92.
Yes.
And at that point, when she said that, I think it was to her, that's many, many years ahead. So she didn't quite get to the 92, but she got pretty close. And, even though she wasn't out there speaking at the I Can Do It conferences towards the end, later in Louise's life, I think it's really instructive to see that she kept learning, not only learning about herself and some of the issues from her past, which I saw, but she also took up painting. She took up
Yes.
ballroom dancing. She did Pilates every week, So she kept active as a senior when most people would be saying, oh, no, I'm just going to sit on the couch.
That's
And she said, no, I'm going to be active and continue growing and learning. And I think that's a great lesson for all of us.
It is a great lesson. And I remember listening to some audio of hers, even saying that once humanity decides that we don't have to be sick or die, we'll be able to transition to the other side without any of the suffering. It does not have to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
I remember her saying that, and that she wanted to go after a party or after, I hope she had her party, 90th birthday party or something like that.
Oh, she did, yeah.
Yes, I remember that. I remember hearing that. And I thought she affirmed it. She affirmed it, and that's what came to pass. So, I mean, for some of us, that can seem like a stretch. But I believe, especially after having just used these principles to heal my mind, to heal my body, to heal my heart, that all things are possible. We are on, in uncharted territory with the foundation of Louise.
Absolutely.
Her foundation. So what are you both going to do today on Louise's? Well, tomorrow's the birthday, but how are you going to celebrate? I know you must.
Well, I'm sure we will be reading some of her work and just, blessing her and thanking her. And also, as I'd mentioned to you earlier, Anna Milkick, who is now going to be one of the trainers in the U.S., she and I are offering a Heal Your Life journey starting October 23rd. And that will be, if they go to our Instagram account, which is Heal Your Life Training, there's more information there. But we're going to be doing that on October 23rd. And obviously, we're not starting it tomorrow. Yes. But, every day is really, at some level, a celebration of Louise's work. We have the I Can Do It calendar that we have right by our coffee pot every morning. Yes. And those are the affirmations that we have, every day. And then often it's just natural that it comes about to use it because it's part of us. As Rick said, he lived the book when he found it. And so it's part of just our daily activities to be in meditation or doing the affirmations, whatever it is. Yes.
The reason that we have been so successful is because we have been blessed by Louise. And Louise fills this house everywhere. And we live and breathe by her principles. And so every day she's with us. I feel her presence in everything I do. And everywhere I look, and our house is full of these little altars. I make them and put them everywhere. And she is among them. So I never miss Louise because she's always with me. And so tomorrow, a little meditation and a gratitude. And blessings for all that she's done. And she's not gone. Yeah. She hasn't gone anywhere. We talk about being on the other side. There really is no other side. It's just the inside that you can't see. Yeah, and right. So she's with us always.
Yeah. And I didn't think to bring it down here because I'm in Rick's office with this, but when Hay House did the birthday party for her 91st birthday, yes. After she had passed in August. So we were there with other authors and Hay House staff, etc. And Louise had asked to be cremated. And what Hay House did, which was quite amazing, is they had like a couple of tablespoons of her ashes put in little velour bags, and we could each have one or two.
Wow.
And I discovered, and again, this was a cosmic thing. We were on an airplane, and I read that you could send ashes to this place in Seattle and called art, and they create a beautiful heart or circle or star with the person's ashes.
Yes.
So we had that done, and it's a beautiful heart about this big,
And I've
purple
seen
and
it.
green. You've seen it, yeah.
Yes.
And on the back, it's engraved with her nickname, which was Lulu, and a rose, because her favorites were yellow roses. So it's a beautiful way to remember her. And I have that in my office as part of my altar. And we occasionally will take it, like when I don't like to travel with it, but at your training, we were just going to San Diego, so we brought it.
Exactly. And I had an opportunity. It has been so wonderful. What are some of the last tips, words of wisdom that you would like to share with our viewers on this very, very special week where we celebrate Reverend Louise Hay, who became Louise Hay, Lulu to her beloved ones.
Yeah, she was a reverend, but the world was her church.
That's right. Amen. Oh, I love that. The world.
My closing comments would be something that many people miss, I think, is in her treatments. They all begin with, in the infinity of life, where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. That is acceptance. That is complete acceptance of the way things are. They are what they are. So in the infinity of life, all is perfect, whole, and complete. And you go ahead with your affirmations of what you want to do to contribute to this full and complete. And then they end with another bookend, which is all is well in my world, which is another acceptance of everything is fine the way it is. And then sandwiched in between that is how you would prefer things to look if you could direct them that way. And that's why she said, mind your own business. Everything is complete. In the infinity of life, it's all good. And then live your life within those two bookends. And that's what I would say, because that's very powerful to understand those they get kind of just glossed over when you do those. And additionally, I would like to thank you for having this program and putting it out to the world, and certainly the people behind the scenes that make it all possible. I know that it isn't just you, and you are their shining representatives on the air.
Robert, Reverend Michaels,
there,
exactly.
yes. Yeah.
So I would like to extend a big thank you to all of them and to everybody working to heal the world.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Patricia.
And I would just say, I love this saying, we don't peel the onion, we peel the artichoke so we can get to the heart. And yes, and Louise's work, some people think Louise's work is all about affirmations, and that's a very important part of it. She was called the Queen of Affirmations, but I think what's really significant is that she takes you on an emotional and spiritual journey. And for those listening and watching, I would say, be willing to take that emotional and spiritual journey, because it's really acknowledging the emotional parts that we need to do to get to the heart of the artichoke.
That's right.
We can't just do it here. It has to come into the heart.
Exactly. And I remember her being on Oprah right after the popularity of The Secret. And she was like, yes, you can attract things into your life, but you have to do the work. You have to do the recovery and discovery work to get the limiting beliefs out of your consciousness so that you can be receptive. So it's not just about visualizing the mansion. It's doing the inner work. And I am safe, so I can do that work. And there's nothing frightening there. Only love. Only love. And all is well. Only love.
Thank you so much, Reverend Martine.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Patricia.
This day.
In the infinity of life, all is well, beloveds.
All is well.
Yes, all is well. We're celebrating the hearts. We're celebrating Louise's heart that loved herself and all of us so much that she shared her understanding of ancient wisdom, teachings with the world, made it so acceptable, so approachable, so comprehensible. So we are just so grateful for that life and for the legacy that continues. So I am Reverend Martine Bernard, the host of What Would Louise Say on the New Thought Media Network.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Yay!